Hey guys, and today I'm going to be showing you how to diagnose and replace the glow plugs on a Mercedes-Benz W123 chassis. This is a 240D with the OM616 engine. This process should be the same for any diesel W123, including the OM616 and OM617 turbo diesel. So let's get into it. For the process, we're going to need a multimeter to test the glow plugs. So to test them, we're going to be putting it onto the ohm setting so that we can test the continuity of the glow plugs. To do our testing, we're going to be using a multimeter so that we can test the continuity of each glow plug with the hood raised in service mode. Just makes it easier. We're going to be coming right here into the fender on the driver's side, and right here is this little cover. You're just going to pull up on it from right here in the back half, and it's going to pop off. This is where your glow plug relay is. First of all, make sure this little fuse right here, if you can see that, make sure it's not blown. If it is, that is your problem. Next, we're going to take this off. If you have the 5-cylinder model, obviously you'll have another plug. These are numbered, 1, 2, 3, and 4, just barely on the sides you'll see them. This goes straight to the glow plugs. So we're going to go ahead and test those. So let me get the multimeter set up. Alright, so we're going to set it to ohms. I have a few ohm options. I'm using the lowest ohm because we only need about 1 ohm of resistance for this. Is the maximum we should get, so the lower the better. You might just have that little ohm emblem. So for our ground, I just cleaned off a little portion of the valve cover, and that's what I'm using as my ground. It is a good ground. So with us holding that, we're going to insert our probe of the multimeter into each individual thing. And as we can see, when we insert into this probe in the top left of my harness, we get 0.5 ohms. Top right, nothing. Bottom right, 0.7 ohms. Bottom left, nothing. So we have 2 dead glow plugs with 2 other ones that work but are at different ohm readings. So I'm going to go ahead and replace all 4, but just for a reference, our top right one was dead, as we can see, so that is cylinder number 1, nothing. And if we go to cylinder number 4, nothing. But cylinder number 2 is technically good, and cylinder number 4 is technically good. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get all 4 out. Just as preventive maintenance, I'm going to go ahead and do the other 2. It's good to replace them in a pair, kind of like spark plugs, but if you just needed to just get by, you could just replace the ones that are dead. We go from our wiring harness, which is where the plug wires are going from, and then we go up to the block right here. We will see cylinders number 1, 2 is tucked back in here, 3 and 4. This is where all 4 of your glow plugs are. So we need to get the little wiring connections. Now the bolt that you're about to take off first, you do need to keep, as the replacement ones do not come with new ones. So you'll need to keep this bolt, don't lose it. These are 8mm, so we're gonna do this one at a time, but the process will be the same for all 4. So we're gonna go ahead and take this bolt off. Okay, now that we got this nut off and the wire off, this next nut, which is the actual glow plug itself, is going to be a 12mm. I have a ratcheting one, which will make my life much easier. If you don't have a ratcheting one, a normal 12mm will work. You'll just do the same thing I did with my 8mm, as I don't have an 8mm ratcheting. Again, a ratcheting wrench will make this easier, but I'll do another time lapse for this one, and I'll show you how we get out. to get it out, I had to, at a certain point, it was just a little bit stuck in there. So what I had to do is I had to put a pair of vice grips on it to hold it and pry against it while I was turning it, and it just easily came out that way. You just had to, you know, hold it and turn it at the same time, and it would pull out. So you're gonna need a pair of vice grips as well to do this. So let's go ahead and compare our parts. And the carbon buildup is not bad on this. It's just barely done considering the age of this vehicle, and that it does have 150,000 miles on it. I would say this is fairly good. If you did have a lot of carbon buildup, you could use a 7mm drill bit and put a tiny bit of grease on it and put it into the glow plug port and clean out some of the carbon buildup. But I don't need to do that because of, well, it's not needed in this case. So let's go ahead and compare our parts. Comparing our parts, we can see they are quite similar, but there's a little bit of differences, as there are a few different variations of the Bosch plugs that I could order. This one is a little bit different, how this one's funneled. This one has a little bit of a different size. However, when you compare them in length, the seats and the length of the actual glow plug itself are the same. So there won't be an issue installing it. I already checked the thread size with the nut. It is the same. So we're going to go ahead and install this. The part number, if you're wondering where I found it, these are the plugs. This is one of the plugs that came out. The camera doesn't really seem to want to focus on it, but it says 0250201-041. That is the part number off of this. So I looked that up, and there's two variations that I found. This was one of them, and it seems to it worked. So it is 0260201-039. I also know there is like a 80,001 part number that these will also fit, that are Bosch. So I'll link these down in the description if you find another variation that you would rather use. The process will be the same. Alright, so I tightened that one down and went ahead and installed the nut as well. You want everything just snug, pretty snug. Everything's about like a spark plug because they're very similar in the concept. So I'm going to put a time-lapse video of me doing the other three, and then we'll come back and check the harness down here, see if we have resistance. For the fourth one over here, it was much easier. Just use a deep socket wrench. For these last two, the nut on the end that was holding on the electrical connection was stuck. So it was actually spinning the glow plug internally. So if that happens to you, I don't know if you could tell what I was doing, but what you do is you just put a pair of vice grips on that like little gold sleeve on the spark plug itself. I don't know if you can see that. Well, when you get in the new part, you'll see the little gold sleeve. Just lock it on the old part, you know, just lock the nut on the sleeve, and you'll be able to hold that steady while you get the bolt off. That's just all I really wanted to say. I'm going to finish up this plug, and then we will check on our continuity. Alright, with all four replaced and tightened down. Now, of course, the last one, I lost it. I dropped it somewhere in here. So I went to the hardware store and got some 10-30-second bolts, nuts, and some 5mm washers. It worked. I'll link those if you want to get those, if you do lose them, or I will be purchasing another set of the correct bolts, because I'm just going to replace that one with the proper one, just because it annoys me that's not correct. So let's go ahead and test the resistance at our plug. Remember that 1 and 4 did not have any resistance. So let's go ahead and see. We'll just start with 1. And if you see there, I don't know if you can, we have 0.8 resistance, which is good. Let's do number 2. Jumping around a bit. Don't know. We have some resistance. 4 is good. And 3 is good. So we have fixed it. So all 4 glow plugs are now giving us resistance. So let's go ahead and plug this in and see if we have a better start. When I was first doing this, we can just plug it back in and put the cover on it. The reason I thought there was a problem with it is the glow plug light on my vehicle was not coming on, and it had a very slow time starting. So as it is starting to cool down here, it is still quite warm out, but it is starting to cool down. I want to make sure this car is ready for the winter. So let me go ahead and start it up and make sure everything's good. Okay, I started the vehicle and the glow plug light did come on now. And it started immediately. There was no crank over. It did maybe 2 rotations and it started. So that is great. The vehicle is fixed. So I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys next time.